Hi everyone, this is what happened to me when I got government housing part 26. I'm going to get back into my story about what was happening to me in the block and why I applied for compensation. Because as you know, I had to take a detour in the last couple of videos because of other stuff that was going on here. Um, and I felt that I should put it out there and tell everyone what was happening because, in the end it'll all make sense that these things happen all the time, and I'm just sort of trying to make a point about the way it affects me, and generally it affects other people, but unfortunately I can't speak on behalf of other people. I'm just speaking on behalf of myself. So I'm sorry if you can't remember what I was up to, but unfortunately you'll have to watch my previous videos as I can't go over it again because there's literally so much that I have to cover. On the 19th of the 6th, 2016, the constable who was dealing with my case rang me to organise a time to meet him at the station. And as you can appreciate, this had now been going on for ages. But I organised to meet with him at Northcote Police Station on the 20th of the 6th, 2016. So when it came to the 20th of the 6th, 2016, I rang that constable to confirm that I would be attending the station, and he told me not to come in. He claimed that he couldn't open the DVD that I had given him, and he claimed that he needed to see something from me in writing so he could write up a report. I don't know why he wanted to write up a report without interviewing me. I find that really strange, and to be honest, I mean, let's face it, it's just fishy. I don't know why he needed to see something in writing before letting me go and talk to him at the station, But anyway, I believe this officer was stonewalling me and that he had no intention of taking my statement. But because of the way I was at that time and because I was so desperate to get rid of the respondent, I kept trying to get the police to do their job. So I told the constable that I would email my statement to him again. After I emailed the statement to the constable again, I rang him to confirm that he received it, and he confirmed that he did. And he said that he could open the file, but for some reason, he didn't ask me to come down to the station, and I was prepared to do that. I don't believe that that officer tried to contact me again. So everything that I had done was for nothing, everything regarding that particular incident. But as you can appreciate, I wasn't just dealing with that incident. I was dealing with the fact that I had been assaulted and they hadn't helped me. And I was dealing with the fact that the respondent kept verbally abusing me when he saw me walking down the street, and the way that made me feel as a person, the way it made me look in the suburb, and the things I had to do to protect myself, and the way that was affecting my standing in the community. And the fact that he had driven a vehicle into me, I don't think he was ever charged for that either. So all of that was going on at the same time, on top of the workload of me having to deal with the police and going through the justice system and doing all of the work that's involved in that on my own. By the 26th of the 6th, 2016, it had been 4 weeks since I had reported the incident where he dumped water on me, and I still hadn't been able to make a statement, despite everything that I did and how hard I tried to do so. On the 28th of the 6th, 2016, I was walking down the street with my daughter, and the respondent went past and verbally abused us, which was explicit. It wasn't just normal abuse. On the 5th of the 7th, 2016, the respondent was banging on my unit ceiling from about 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. and I was suffering really bad headaches because of it. And I was unable to get back to sleep after he was doing that, and he did that often. On the 12th of the 7th, 2016, I went back to my GP and I was given another medical certificate for sick leave related to the breakdown that I suffered. On the 13th of the 7th, 2016, I rang a psychologist and I tried to get an appointment, and I was told that there were no appointments available. On the 15th of the 7th, 2016, I attended the Melbourne Magistrates Court for the variation that I wanted on my personal safety order, and I don't remember the details of that day. But, looking back, I guess, I don't know if I was blocking it out or I just couldn't remember because I was doing so much at that time. But the bottom line is I can't remember, so I have nothing to tell you guys about that. Then on the 16th of the 7th, 2016, I washed my clothes at the laundrette, which is always hard. Pushing a trolley down there with a young child, washed them, took them home, put them on the line, and when they were drying, I discovered that the respondent had his window open all the way again, in the same way that he did on the day that he dumped a bucket of water on me. So I took all my washing off the line and I took it back inside. And that might seem trivial to some people, but for me, that was really hard because I was constantly being forced to change my habits and my behavior. So even though my washing was in my yard, the fact that it wasn't able to be put on the line was still being controlled by him. So this is, not only did he control what I did when I was outside my unit, because obviously I feared being assaulted, but he was starting to have control over what was happening within my property. On the 19th of the 7th, 2016, I was in my lounge room and I heard something bang against the side door, which is actually glass, so it's a side window and a side door. And when I opened the door and I looked around, I saw that someone had thrown a rock at my side door. And I've got a photo of that. The respondent had been using my side yard as a rubbish bin, on top of that. So he was using the side yard as a rubbish bin, but at this point he'd also started throwing rocks at my side window. And he would also make sure that the rubbish that he threw in my side yard would stay there. When the respondent first started throwing rubbish into my side yard, I would pick it up and put it in the bins, which were kept in the front area of the units. But if I put rubbish in the bin, I would find that exactly the same rubbish was put back into my side yard. So I learned that when rubbish was thrown into my side yard, that it had to stay there. There was a lot of rubbish thrown into my yard, and because I couldn't move it, it built up. It was disgusting and it was embarrassing and it was degrading. But it epitomized the respondent, who was a disgusting person. When I look back at all the things that were done to me and the way he verbally abused me, the pattern that I see is that it was all about degradation and humiliation. The respondent was a very nasty, dirty person, and he seemed to imbue the whole block of units with his nastiness and dirtiness. He turned my side yard into a rubbish tip, and he wanted me to keep the rubbish that was thrown there. It seemed to me that the respondent didn't just want to degrade me, that it seemed that he wanted me to accept the degradation without fighting back.